Welcome back learners to the chapter 4th Carbon and its compound. We have previously discussed the chemical properties of carbon, its existence in our nature. Then we discussed the covalent compound with their example. So many topics has been discussed in this chapter and some more will be discussed today. So let's start it. First of all, we will discuss about allotropes of carbon. So students, basically allotropy is the property by virtue of which an element exists in more than one form and each form has different physical properties but identical chemical properties. So these different forms, they are called the allotropes, and carbon also exists in different allotropic forms. They are, here you can see on your screen, diamond, graphite, and lastly Buckminster Fullerene. So these three allotropic forms which we will discuss, they are called the crystalline forms. When I say crystalline form, it means that these three allotropes of carbon, they are having a long chain repeating unit of same kind, same pattern of atoms in them. That's why they are crystalline. Though carbon is capable to have amorphous form, as in amorphous form, carbon is having short repeating units, okay, short range of repeating units. So those amorphous forms are coal, lamp black, and charcoal. But we will discuss just three things. Let's start it, students. First of all, here you can see the heading is diamond. So we will discuss about diamond. Let's discuss the general property. We know that it is a colorless transparent substance with extraordinary brilliance due to its high refractive index. Here you can see picture of diamond. It is very heavy, extremely hard. So it is the hardest natural substance known. It does not conduct electricity, okay? But it has high thermal conductivity and high melting point. So these are the properties which are shown by diamond. Now let's understand the structure of diamond. Here on your screen you can see the structure of diamond has been shown. So it is a giant molecule of carbon in which each carbon atom is bonded to four other carbon atoms. You can see here, have a look. This is the central carbon atom and it is connected with four other carbon atom. So in this manner, students, one carbon atom is connected to four other, and this result in a strong network structure. This type of structure is called tetrahedral arrangement, and just because of it, diamond is very hard. A lot of energy is required to break the network of strong covalent bond in diamond crystal. That's why it's having high melting point. And the reason behind that diamond is not conducting electricity is that it's not having any free electron to conduct the electricity. Alright, so let's discuss the next thing. Now, next thing on your screen, that is graphite. So we will discuss the general properties first. It is a grayish black opaque substance. It is lighter than diamond, smooth and slippery to touch. It is good conductor of electricity. But why? Just because of presence of free electron, which I will explain later. Now, though it is good conductor of electricity, but it is bad conductor of heat. Now students, all the reason reside in its structure. So let's have a look on the structure. You can see on your screen the structure of diamond, graphite. Look, a graphite crystal consists of layer of carbon atom or sheet of carbon atom. Each carbon atom in graphite is joined to three other carbon atoms. Here you can see, if you consider this as central atom, now count first, second and third. So each carbon atom is connected with 3. But carbon is having valency 4. So when it combines with just 3 carbon atom, one electron remain unpaired. You can even say unshared. So just because of one extra electron which is free there, graphite is capable of conducting electricity. And now this sheet, they are having weak forces which hold them together. Just because of it, graphite is smooth, it's not having that much high melting boiling point when we compare it with diamond. So these are the reasons because of which graphite and diamond are so differ. Now we will discuss the next allotrope, that is fullerene. So students, let's understand who discovered it. Firstly, these are the recently discovered allotropic form of carbon which were prepared for first time by H.W. Coroto, Smalley and Robert Kurt. Okay, so basically the first known fullerene was C60, which has been shown here. So this is a C60 allotrope. Now this C60 means 60 carbon atoms are connected together in this special structure which appears like a football. So fullerene was named Buckminster fullerene due to its resemblance with geodesic dome. Okay, that was designed by some architect on the honor of him. It was named so. Here you can see two types of rings are available. Firstly, you can see a hexagonal ring and a pentagonal ring. So in this manner, a hexagonal ring, pentagonal ring, they are having repetitive structure, repeating unit, just because of it this fullerene has been made. Now I will present one fact. The estimated number of carbon atoms known today is about 3 million. But now the question is, which property or properties of carbon are responsible for the formation of such a large number of carbon compounds? We must think about it. So basically students, the three factors which are responsible for the versatile nature of carbon, they are catenation, tetravalency and tendency to form multiple bonds. Now we will understand each one of them. First of all, let's have a discussion on catenation. So students, catenation is the property by virtue of which carbon is capable of self-linking. Carbon can form straight chain, branch chain and even closed chain. Here you can see that with itself. So a large number of carbon atoms can combine together. This property is called catenation. The second property, that is tetravalency. Look, carbon is having 4 valency. So carbon is capable of combining with 4 monovalent atoms. I am showing you. Look, at the center here it is carbon and on the 4 corners it can combine 4 different and 4 same atoms which are having valency 1, like hydrogen in case of methane. So one hydrogen here, second, third and fourth. So this property, this is called tetravalency. Lastly students, the property which was discussed here was tendency to form multiple bond. Now we have seen in the examples of covalent compound that carbon forms multiple bond. Let me give you one example here. Carbon is capable of forming multiple bond with itself and also with other atoms like oxygen, nitrogen. So let me draw something for you. We will draw the structure of CO2. So carbon, which is our central atom, it forms double bond O with each oxygen in order to form its octet, in order to complete the octet. So this is the structure of CO2. Here these are the multiple bonds, okay, which are present between carbon and oxygen. Similarly, carbon can form multiple bond with itself. Let me give you one example. This example is of molecule of ethene. Alright, so it will be written as C double bond C along with 2 hydrogen, both carbon will contain. So this is the molecule of ethene. So students, you have seen that these three properties of carbon which we discussed recently, they are the responsible properties. Just because of them we are having a lot of carbon compound in our surrounding. So today we discussed the allotropic nature of carbon, later on the versatile nature of carbon. In the upcoming classes, we will study some more topics. That's all for today, students. Keep revising, and wherever you find difficulty, just raise the query.